I knew my marriage was over the moment Patricia rolled her eyes at me like I was some hired help who'd just tracked mud through her fancy house. No screaming, no throwing things, just that look that said I wasn't worth the breath it would take to explain why I disgusted her. She didn't know I was standing right there when she said it to her sister on the phone. "Eugene, he's just an electrician. I need someone who matches my professional level now." Just an electrician. 23 years of marriage, and that's what I'd become to her. My name is Eugene Porter. I'm 57 years old, and until that Tuesday evening in September, I thought I had a pretty good life in Akron, Ohio. I own Porter Electrical Services, built it from nothing with these two hands and a beat-up van I bought for $800 back in 1987. Now I've got 6 guys working for me, and we handle everything from rewiring Century homes to industrial contracts at the rubber plants. Not bad for just an electrician. Patricia. God, where do I even start with Patricia? We met when she was 26, working as a secretary at an insurance office, dreaming about something bigger. I was 34, already building my business, and I fell for her ambition as much as her smile. She had plans, wanted to go back to school, get her MBA, make something of herself. I respected that. Hell, I loved that about her. So I paid for it, every cent of her education. $32,000 over 4 years for her MBA while she worked part-time and I carried the load. I didn't mind. That's what husbands do, right? You invest in your partner's dreams because you're building a life together. And it worked out. Patricia landed a marketing job at Cuyahoga Industries right after graduation. Started at $35,000. Now she's pulling down $120,000 as their marketing director. I was proud of her. Proud of us. Thought we were a team. That was before she started looking at me like I was the help. The change didn't happen overnight. It was gradual, like rust eating away at steel. First, she stopped asking about my day. Then she started correcting my grammar when we had company. Little comments about how maybe Eugene should let me handle conversations about finances, or "You wouldn't understand the corporate world, honey." But that phone call, that was different. I'd come home early because my afternoon appointment canceled. Mrs. Henderson's rewiring job got pushed to Friday when she found out her grandson was visiting. I walked into our kitchen just in time to hear Patricia talking to her sister Linda. "Dennis thinks I should transfer to the Cleveland office. Better opportunities there, you know? More sophisticated clientele." She was pacing around the kitchen island, twirling her hair like she did when she was excited about something. "The only problem is Eugene. I can't exactly bring a small-town electrician to corporate events in Cleveland. It would be awkward." I stood there in my work clothes, tool belt still around my waist, listening to my wife explain why I wasn't good enough for her new life. The same tool belt that had paid for her education, her fancy clothes, the BMW sitting in our driveway. I know," she continued. "He's a good provider, but Linda, I've grown beyond this. I need a partner who can match my professional level. Someone who understands my world." That's when she saw me. For just a second, her eyes went wide like a kid caught stealing cookies. Then her face hardened into that look I'd been seeing more often lately. Not embarrassed, annoyed that I'd interrupted her conversation. "I have to go," she said into the phone, never taking her eyes off me. "Eugene just got home." Just Eugene. Not my husband Eugene or even Eugene. Just Eugene, like I was some inconvenience that had wandered into her space. "How long have you been standing there?" she asked, setting down her phone. "Long enough," I said. My voice came out calmer than I felt. "Long enough to hear about Cleveland." She crossed her arms, defensive. "It's a career opportunity, Eugene. Something you wouldn't understand." There it was. The dismissal I'd been getting used to. The casual cruelty wrapped up in reasonable words. "Wouldn't understand," I repeated. "The guy who built a business from nothing wouldn't understand career opportunities." "That's not what I meant." "Sure it is." I unclipped my tool belt, set it on the counter. "It's exactly what you meant. Just like you meant it when you told Linda I'm not sophisticated enough for Cleveland corporate events." Patricia's jaw tightened. "You're being dramatic." "Am I? Because it sounded like you're planning a whole new life that doesn't include your husband." "I'm planning our future, Eugene, both of ours. Funny how this future involves you moving to Cleveland and me being too embarrassing to take along." She turned away, started loading dishes into the dishwasher with sharp, angry movements. "You're twisting my words." But I wasn't, and we both knew it. I'd heard what I'd heard, clear as the day is long. That night, lying in bed while Patricia slept beside me, I stared at the ceiling and tried to figure out when I'd become the problem in my own marriage. When had the woman I'd supported through school, helped build a career, shared a life with for over 2 decades, decided I wasn't worth keeping around? I got up around 3 a.m., went down to the garage, and started organizing my tools. Sometimes working with your hands helps you think. As I sorted through wire nuts and junction boxes, the pieces started falling into place. The late nights at the office that started about 6 months ago. The new clothes she'd been buying with money from accounts I couldn't access. The way she'd started going to networking events every other weekend, coming home smelling like expensive cologne that wasn't mine. Dennis. She'd mentioned Dennis. Dennis Carpenter, her regional director. I'd met him once at Patricia's company picnic last summer. Smooth talker, expensive suit, the kind of guy who used words like synergy and optimization in casual conversation. The kind of guy Patricia apparently thought matched her professional level. I pulled out my phone and did what any suspicious husband does in 2024. I started digging. Facebook was a gold mine. Patricia had been tagging herself at restaurants and events for months, and when I looked closer at the photos, there he was. Dennis. Always in the background at first, then closer, then sitting right next to her. The most recent photos were from a marketing conference in Columbus. Just the two of them at what looked like a pretty intimate dinner for a business meeting. My hands were shaking by the time I finished scrolling through 6 months of evidence. My wife of 23 years was already halfway out the door, and I'd been too busy working to notice. The next morning, I called my brother Larry. He's retired police, spent 30 years with Akron PD before hanging it up last year. Has a good head for this kind of situation. "Larry, I need some advice," I said when he picked up. "Patricia's having an affair." Silence on the other end. Then, "You sure about that, Gene?" "Pretty sure, and I think she's planning to leave me for this guy. What do you want to do about it?" That was Larry, straight to the point, no wasted sympathy. "I don't know yet, but I need to protect myself. First thing, document everything. Screenshots, bank statements, whatever you can find. Second, don't let on that you know. And third, get yourself a lawyer." "A lawyer? Gene, if she's planning to leave, she's probably been planning how to take you to the cleaners too. Women don't just wake up one day and decide to start over. They plan this stuff." Larry was right. Over the next week, I started paying attention to things I'd been ignoring. Patricia's laptop was always closed when I came home now. She'd started getting phone calls that made her step outside to take them. And our savings account, the one we'd been building for 15 years, had some interesting activity. $15,000 transferred to an account I didn't recognize. Another $8,000 the week after that. When I called the bank, they told me Patricia had opened a personal account 3 months ago and had been moving money into it regularly. My wife had been preparing for her exit while still sleeping in my bed, eating food I paid for, living in a house my business had built. That's when I stopped feeling sorry for myself and started getting mad. The thing about running your own electrical business in a town like Akron is you get to know people, real people. Factory workers, shop owners, teachers, retired folks on fixed incomes who trust you to keep their lights on. These aren't the kind of people who throw around words like sophisticated or worry about matching professional levels. They judge you by whether you show up on time, do good work, and charge a fair price. I'd been doing that for 37 years since I was 20 years old and desperate to make something of myself. Started with nothing but a high school diploma and a willingness to crawl through attics in July and basements in January. Built my reputation one job at a time, one satisfied customer at a time. Mrs. Kowalski still calls me every Christmas to thank me for rewiring her house after her husband died. Says I could have charged her double and she wouldn't have known, but I didn't. That's worth more to me than any MBA. The Hendersons have been customers for 15 years. When their son came back from Afghanistan missing his right arm, I spent a whole weekend modifying their garage into an apartment for him, didn't charge them a dime for labor. That's the kind of community Patricia thinks she's too good for now. I started making a list of all the times my unsophisticated work had helped real people. The elderly widow whose furnace wouldn't start on the coldest night of winter. The young couple whose kitchen outlet kept tripping, making it impossible to run their home bakery. The school where I donated labor to upgrade their electrical panel because their budget couldn't cover it. Every one of these jobs mattered more to me than whatever corporate games Dennis and Patricia were playing in their climate-controlled offices. That Friday, I got a call from Tommy Brennan, who runs Brennan's Tavern down on East Market. Tommy's been a customer for 10 years. "Gene, I heard some things," he said, "about Patricia and some guy from her work. Small towns. Word travels fast." "What kind of things?" I asked, though I had a pretty good idea. "The kind where a married woman's been seen around town with another guy." "Look, Gene, I don't like gossip, but you're good people. Figured you should know what folks are saying." I thanked Tommy and hung up, feeling that familiar mixture of embarrassment and anger. In a city like Cleveland or Columbus, Patricia could probably carry on her affair without anyone noticing. But Akron's different. People pay attention, people talk, and people remember who's been good to them over the years. I hired Rebecca Walsh, the toughest divorce attorney in Summit County. Cost me $500 just to sit down with her for an hour, but it was worth every penny. "Mr. Porter," she said after reviewing the evidence I'd gathered, "your wife has been systematically moving marital assets into an account you can't access. In Ohio, that's considered financial misconduct. We can use this. What about the affair?" "That helps too, especially if we can prove she used marital funds to finance her relationship with this other man. Those restaurant bills, any hotels, gifts, if she paid for them with your money, that's dissipation of marital assets." Rebecca laid out a strategy. File first, before Patricia could get her own lawyer involved. Freeze the accounts she'd been draining. Demand a full accounting of where every penny had gone. I pulled out my phone and showed Rebecca the credit card statements I'd been studying. "Look at this. $12,000 at fancy hotels and restaurants over 6 months, all of it on our cards." Rebecca's eyebrows went up. "She was making you pay for her affair. The judge is not going to be sympathetic to that." "There's more," I said, handing over bank statements. "She's moved $23,000 from our joint savings into her personal account, money we saved for 15 years. That brings the total dissipation to about $35,000, Rebecca calculated. "Mr. Porter, your wife hasn't just been cheating on you, she's been stealing from you to do it. This is going to get ugly," Rebecca warned. "She'll fight back. They always do when they get caught." "Let her fight. I've been playing defense for months. Time to go on offense." We filed the papers on a Thursday morning. Patricia was served at her office right in front of her colleagues, including Dennis. Strategic move by Rebecca to put her on the back foot. The phone call started within an hour. "Eugene, what the hell is this?" Patricia's voice was shrill, panicked. "A divorce petition? Are you out of your mind?" "I'm out of a marriage that ended months ago," I said. "I'm just making it official. We can work this out. We don't need lawyers involved. We needed to work it out before you started moving our money into your private account. We needed to work it out before you started sleeping with Dennis." Silence. Then quietly, "How did you find out?" "Does it matter? You made your choice, Patricia. You chose Dennis in Cleveland over 23 years with me. I'm just respecting your decision." It's not what you think. It's exactly what I think. You've been planning this for months. The affair, the money transfers, the Cleveland job opportunity. You just didn't expect me to find out before you could make your grand exit." More silence. Then her voice changed, got colder. "Fine. If this is how you want to play it, Eugene, you're going to regret it. I'll take everything. The house, the business, all of it. Good luck with that. You might want to explain to your lawyer how you've been stealing from our joint accounts to fund your affair." I hung up and turned off my phone. Let Rebecca handle the rest. The next few weeks were a blur of depositions, document requests, and legal maneuvering. Patricia hired some hotshot attorney from Cleveland, probably on Dennis's recommendation. They tried to paint me as controlling, financially abusive, emotionally distant. Classic playbook for a cheating spouse trying to flip the narrative. But Rebecca was better. She had the bank records showing Patricia's systematic theft. She had the photos from social media. She had the phone records showing hundreds of calls between Patricia and Dennis going back 8 months. The funny thing was, the more the legal battle escalated, the more support I got from the community. Word had gotten out about what Patricia was doing, and people weren't happy about it. My business started picking up in ways I hadn't expected. Mrs. Rodriguez, who'd been taking her electrical problems to a big chain store, called me up. "Eugene, I heard what your wife did to you. That's not right. From now on, you're my electrician." Dave Morrison, who owns Morrison's Hardware, started recommending me to every customer who needed electrical work. Eugene Porter's been in this community for 37 years, I heard him telling people. Solid guy, did right by all of us. Now it's time we do right by him. Even Father McKenna mentioned it after Sunday service. Not by name, of course, but everyone knew what he meant when he talked about supporting our neighbors through difficult times and the importance of loyalty and faithfulness in marriage. It felt strange having the whole town rally around me like that. But it also felt right. These were my people. Had been all along. The turning point came when we discovered Patricia had been using our credit cards to pay for her romantic getaways with Dennis. $12,000 at fancy hotels and restaurants over 6 months. All of it documented, all of it traceable. Your wife was literally making you pay for her affair, Rebecca told me. The judge is not going to be sympathetic to that. Patricia's lawyer tried to settle out of court, but I wasn't interested. She'd humiliated me, stolen from me, and treated me like garbage for months. Now it was her turn to face some consequences. The divorce hearing was a disaster for Patricia. The judge reviewed the evidence methodically, asked pointed questions about the transferred funds and the credit card charges. When Patricia tried to explain that she'd been preparing for her financial independence, the judge cut her off. Mrs. Porter, you weren't preparing for independence. You were committing theft. There's a difference. In the end, I got the house, half the value of Patricia's retirement accounts, and reimbursement for the $35,000 she'd stolen from our joint savings and spent on her affair. She got to keep her Cleveland dreams and her relationship with Dennis. Except Dennis wasn't interested in damaged goods. Word got back to me through Larry's contacts that Dennis had started distancing himself from Patricia as soon as the divorce became public. Something about maintaining his professional reputation. Funny how fast these corporate types run when things get messy. Patricia moved to Cleveland anyway, took the transfer she'd been planning. But without Dennis backing her play, the promotion she'd been promised never materialized. Last I heard through the Akron grapevine, she was working as a senior marketing specialist, making about half what she'd been pulling down here. Meanwhile, my business started booming in ways I'd never expected. The community support that had begun during the divorce proceedings turned into something bigger. People who'd never used my services before started calling. Eugene, this is Carol Peterson from Kenmore. I heard what happened with your wife, and I just want you to know that some of us appreciate a good man when we see one. My kitchen needs rewiring, and I'd like you to do the work. Calls like that came in every week. My appointment book filled up 3 months out. I had to turn down work for the first time in years. The guys who work for me started joking that I should send Patricia a thank you card for advertising the business. But it wasn't just work. People treated me different around town. Better. Like they respected what I'd been through and how I'd handled it. At Brennan's Tavern, Tommy wouldn't let me pay for a beer for 3 months. You stood up for yourself like a man should, he said. That counts for something around here. At Morrison's Hardware, Dave started introducing me to new customers as Eugene Porter, best electrician in Summit County, honest as the day is long. Even at church, people who'd barely nodded at me before started inviting me to sit with their families. Mrs. Kowalski, who's been going to St. Stephen's for 60 years, told me after Mass one Sunday, Eugene, you handled that business with dignity. Your parents would be proud. It felt strange being seen as some kind of role model, but it also felt good. These people understood what marriage was supposed to be about: loyalty, partnership, building something together instead of using each other as stepping stones. About 6 months after the divorce was final, I was rewiring the electrical panel at Kenmore Elementary when I ran into Helen Morrison. I'd known Helen since we were kids, went to school together from kindergarten through graduation. She'd been Helen Casey back then, married her high school sweetheart right after graduation. Eugene, she said, coming out of her classroom with an armload of papers. I heard about Patricia. I'm so sorry. Helen had been teaching 4th grade at Kenmore for 28 years. Her husband Tim had passed away 2 years earlier after a long battle with cancer. I'd gone to the funeral, sent flowers, but we hadn't really talked since then. Thanks, Helen. How are you holding up? Oh, you know, taking it one day at a time. Some days are harder than others, but the kids keep me busy. She gestured to her papers. Grading never ends. I'd forgotten how easy Helen was to talk to, how she listened when you spoke, looked you right in the eyes, made you feel like what you were saying mattered. What are you working on here? She asked, nodding toward the electrical panel I'd been updating. Upgrading the whole system. These old schools, the wiring hasn't been touched since the 1960s. Principal Williams finally got the budget approval to bring everything up to code. That's wonderful. The kids will be safer, and we won't have to worry about tripping breakers every time we try to use more than one computer. She didn't ask what I charged or whether it was expensive work. Didn't make any comments about it being just electrical work. She understood that what I did mattered, that it made people's lives better and safer. We talked for maybe 10 minutes, and when she had to get back to her grading, she said, "Eugene, would you like to get coffee sometime? I know we're both going through transitions, and it might be nice to have someone to talk to who understands." That was 8 months ago. Helen and I have been taking things slow, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't hopeful. She treats me like I matter, asks about my day, and actually listens to the answer. She's proud of what I've built, doesn't see my work clothes as something to be embarrassed about. When her garbage disposal went out last month, she called me to fix it instead of some random service company. "I like knowing my man can actually fix things," she told me afterward while we shared a beer on her back porch. "There's something to be said for a guy who builds instead of just talks." Helen understands what real partnership looks like. When I told her about Patricia's comment about me being just an electrician, Helen shook her head in disgust. "Just an electrician? Eugene, you keep the lights on for this whole community. You make sure families are safe in their homes. Children can learn in schools with reliable power because of what you do. That's not just anything." She gets it, gets me, doesn't see my calloused hands as something that needs fixing, or my work shirts as evidence that I haven't made something of myself. She sees a man who's built a life and a business on honesty and hard work. Last week, Patricia called me out of the blue. First time I'd heard from her since the divorce was finalized. "Eugene," she said, and her voice sounded different, tired. "I made a mistake." "Which one? The affair, the theft, or treating me like hired help?" "All of it. I was stupid, and I'm sorry." I looked out at Helen working in her garden, wearing one of my old work shirts over her jeans, looking happy and comfortable and real. She'd been helping me plant vegetables behind my house, said she missed having a garden since Tim died. "I appreciate the apology, Patricia, but apologies don't undo 23 years of taking someone for granted." "I know, but maybe we could what? Start over? Pretend none of this happened?" I shook my head even though she couldn't see it. "You made your choice. You chose Dennis and Cleveland over the life we'd built together. I've moved on." "With someone else?" "With someone who appreciates me. Someone who doesn't think being an electrician is something to be ashamed of." There was a long silence, then quietly, "I hope you're happy." "I am," I said, and meant it. Finally. After I hung up, Helen came over and sat beside me on the porch swing. She didn't ask about the call, didn't pry. Just settled in next to me and watched the sunset paint the sky orange and pink. "Everything okay?" she asked after a while. "Yeah," I said, putting my arm around her shoulders. "Everything's exactly as it should be. The business is doing better than ever. I've hired 2 more guys and bought a second truck. Word of mouth in a community like Akron is powerful when you've earned people's respect." Mrs. Rodriguez recommended me to her daughter in Canton. Dave Morrison sends me customers from 3 counties over. The reputation I spent 37 years building has finally paid off in ways I never expected. Helen and I are talking about taking a trip together next spring. Maybe out to Colorado to see the mountains. She's never been west of Indiana, and I promised to show her country she's only seen in pictures. Nothing fancy, just 2 people who appreciate each other's company exploring something new together. At 57, I've learned something important about marriage, about respect, about knowing your worth. Patricia taught me what I wouldn't accept anymore. Helen is showing me what I deserve. Sometimes the best revenge isn't getting even. Sometimes it's just building a better life without the people who didn't value you in the first place. 3 months ago, I got a letter from Dennis Carpenter's wife. Apparently, Patricia wasn't his first affair, and Mrs. Carpenter's divorce lawyer had been very interested in the documented evidence from my case. She wanted to thank me for providing the precedent that helped her own legal team. Turns out Dennis has been cheating on his wife for years, and the pattern of using company resources and marital funds to finance his affairs was exactly what her lawyer needed. Some people never learn. Some people think the rules don't apply to them, think they can use and discard people without consequences. But life has a way of evening the score. I'm Eugene Porter. I'm 57 years old, and I'm not just an electrician. I'm a man who knows his worth, who's learned from his mistakes, and who's finally found someone who sees value in what I bring to the table. And that's more than enough for me. The real truth is this: you can't build a lasting relationship on looking down at someone. Respect isn't something you can fake long term, and genuine partnership can't survive when one person thinks they're settling. The woman who truly loves you will see your work as honorable, your dedication as admirable, and your character as more valuable than any job title. When someone shows you who they really are, believe them the first time.